All right, I'm here to talk about my technology lesson plan. So one of the things that the third graders are doing right now is we are learning about pollution and conservation. This is our science standards. My class already has a pretty strong basis in the water crisis around the world and reading for the past couple of weeks. We've been doing lessons using the book called One Well, which teaches us about water around the world. So they do have a pretty strong foundation and already a little bit of knowledge about what's going on. So the first thing that we did with this is we listened to a read aloud on the Water Princess, which I'm not going to show you now for time's sake. So that's how we started it. And then students were given a chance to get on Flipgrid and to share their thoughts about it. So this is using what they've already learned as well as what they learned from the Water Princess, which is about a little girl who has to walk miles and miles to get to water each day, and it's dirty by the time they get it. So several of my students, all of my students, did their Flipgrid additions, and then they responded to each other. And then the next thing that we did to really dive into it is we got into the Metaverse app. And it's hard to see, it's bad quality here, but there's a seahorse, and students were able to go through and answer questions about it and watch videos about water pollution in the world. So this really gave them a chance to dive in to the lesson, which was helpful and really got that background knowledge built, because that was the hardest thing for students to have. So that was the next thing that we did. After that, students got together. They were given their goal, which was to create a water filter that would actually help filter out water. And then they got together on the IWAP and they collaborated together. So this is a student example, well, a group's example of their plan. The different colors were, they were each supposed to do a different color. One of the students was over here. One of the issues that arose with this lesson for me is that for the AWAP, and for the spiral, which is what's coming up, I really wanted to use the laptops for it. And unfortunately, due to standardized testing on the computers, we don't have access to our laptops right now, so we had to use the iPads. And the AWAP was not as user-friendly on the iPads as it was on the laptops, and a lot of my students got lost. So we had part of the group working over here, and then another part of the group was working over here, and we had a lot of panic at the time trying to find each other and then losing work somewhere on this huge board. So that's something I would definitely prefer to have the laptops the next time I do this. I just feel like it's much more user-friendly, especially for my younger learners. So after they collaborated, they did really enjoy being able to draw together and share their ideas. And they were sitting in groups, so they were both talking about it and sharing it visually, which was great for my more diverse learners. After this, then they actually got the materials and made their filters, and we tested them. And the last thing that they did is let's see if I can get out of here. They went into the Spiral app and they collaborated again to make their presentations. This was another thing. It was very difficult for students to use on the iPads. It's much smaller, and I feel like the quality would have been much higher if they had been able to do it on the laptops. So something I will definitely want to try. The access to this for the students was very easy, which I appreciated, and we really didn't have any other trouble other than with the touch screen making it a little bit harder, and the smaller screens making it a little bit harder for students to work with. For this, I gave the students the option to either do the presentation or to write an essay. And for this, all of my students chose to do the presentations, which we're still working our way through. We haven't got through all of them. But this is the rubric that we use for that. And then they had the option to also do to do an essay instead. And for this, I made the rubric pretty as similar as I could, because I really wanted to grade, are they understanding the content and are they getting the information necessary? So that is my lesson plan. Thanks for listening.